The late Republic of Rome, a period marked by significant internal strife and external conflict, witnessed the transformation of Roman military and its political landscape. This era, extending from 2nd century BCE to the rise of Julius Caesar, was characterized by wars that are not only shaped Roman territorial expansion but also influenced its internal governance and military reforms. The Gracchi brothers, Tiberius and Gaius, played a pivotal role in initiating reform aimed at addressing social inequities. Yet, it was the external conflict that ultimately defined this tumultuous period. In this video, we're gonna focus on the external wars and military development leading up to Sulla's dictatorship, examining how these conflicts influenced Rome's political and military structure. Let's get started. The Gracchi brothers emerged during a time when Rome was experiencing profound social and economic changes. This expansion of Rome territory through conquest had led an influx of wealth but also created disparities between the wealthy elites and the lower classes. As land became concentrated in the hands of a few, many small farmers lost their livelihood, leading to increased social unrest. Tiberius Gracchus, elected tribune in 133 BCE, sought to implement land reforms to redistribute public land, ager publicus, to impoverished citizens. His proposal aimed to limit land ownership to 500 aegera, approximately 310 acres per individual, and redistribute access land to those in need. This reform faced fierce opposition from the Senate, particularly from the patrician class who benefited from large states. Despite initial successes in passing this legislation through popular support, Tiberius faced violent backlash. In 133 BCE, he was assassinated by political opponents, marking a significant escalation in the political violence with Rome. Following his brother's death, Gaius Gracchus became the prominent political figure advocating for further reforms. Elected tribune in 123 BCE, he expanded upon Tiberius' initiatives by proposing gains subsidized for poor and extending citizenship right to Roman allies. His reform aimed not only addressing economic inequality but also at stabilizing Rome's social fabric. However, Gaius' attempt to consolidate power and enact reforms led to an increased tension with the Senate. In 121 BCE, facing mounting opposition and civil unrest, Gaius was killed by a mob incited by his enemies. The violent death of both brothers exemplified the growing rift between the Senate and the populist faction, setting a precedent for future political violence. External conflict, war of expansion. The Punic Wars, 264 to 146 BCE. If you haven't watched our series on Punic War, make sure to check this link after completing this video. The Punic War were a series of 3 significant conflicts fought between Rome and Carthage that fundamentally altered the course of Roman history. These wars are driven by competition for trade dominance in the Mediterranean and territorial expansion. The First Punic War, in 264 to 241 BCE, was begun over control of Sicily. Rome's naval power was initially weak compared to Carthage's established fleet. However, through innovation in shipbuilding and tactics such as Corvus boarding device, Rome emerged victorious. The Second Punic War, 218 to 201 BCE, perhaps the most famous conflict due to Hannibal's Barca's audacious crossing of the Alps with the war elephants. This war saw several major battles such as Battle of Cannae, 216 BCE, where Rome forces suffered devastating losses. Despite these setbacks, Rome eventually turned the tide under Scipio Africanus at the Battle of Zama, 202 BCE, leading to Carthage's defeat. The Third Punic War, 149 to 146 BCE, resulting from ongoing tensions and fear of the Carthaginian resurgence. This war culminated in the complete destruction of Carthage. The Romans razed the city and enslaved its population, solidifying their dominance over North Africa. These Punic Wars are not only expanded Rome territories, but also significantly increased its wealth and military experiences. This newfound power contributed to internal conflict as returning soldiers sought land and recognition. The Macedonian Wars, 214–148 BCE. Following the Punic War, Rome turned its attention eastward towards the Macedonia and Greece. The Macedonian Wars were pivotal in establishing Rome's influence over Hellenistic territories. The First Macedonian War, 214–205 BCE, initiated due to Philip V's alliance with Hannibal during the Second Punic War. This conflict ended inclusively with a peace treaty that maintained the status quo. Second Macedonian War, 200–196 BCE, led by Titius Quinticus Flaminius. This war resulted in a decisive Roman victory at the Battle of Cynocephalae, 197 BCE, leading to the liberation of Greek city-states from Macedonian control. The Third Macedonian War, 171–168 BCE, aimed at curtailing Perseus' ambition. This conflict concluded with another Roman victory at Pydna, 168 BCE, leading to Macedonia's division into 4 client republics. The Fourth Macedonian War, 150–148 BCE, this final conflict resulted in Macedonia being annexed as a Roman province. The outcomes of these wars solidified Rome's position as a dominant power in the Mediterranean, but also brought about new challenges as they attempt to govern diverse culture and regions. The Social War, 91–87 BCE. The Social War marked a critical turning point in Roman history as it involved Rome's Italian allies who sought citizenship right after years of military service without political representation. The conflict arose from growing discontent among these allies who felt marginalized despite their contributions to Rome's military successes. The cause of this is the denial of citizenship right led to widespread rebellion among the Italy's tribes against Roman's rule. Significant battles included those led by Lucius Cornelius Sulla against the rebel forces. The war concluded with legislation granting citizenship to many Italian allies, but also highlighted deep-seated issues within the Roman governance structure. The Social War underscored how external conflict could exacerbate internal divisions within Rome itself. The culmination of these external conflicts set a stage for Sulla's unprecedented march on Rome in 88 BCE, a pivotal moment that marked a departure from traditional republican norms regarding military engagement within Italy. Sulla has gained considerable military experience during the campaigns against Mithridates VI of Pontus, but found himself embroiled in political disputes back home regarding command over troops destined for Asia Minor. In a bold move that defied republican principles, Sulla marched his legions into Rome, a city that had never before taken by force since its founding, asserting his authority against political rivals aligned with Marius. Sulla's actions led to a civil strife as he enacted proscriptions against his enemy upon seizing power. Once dictator, Sulla implemented sweeping reforms aimed at strengthening senatorial authority while diminishing popular assembly's power, changes that would have lasting implications for Rome's governance structure. The conclusion is the Republic was characterized by a series of external conflicts that reshaped not only Rome's territorial boundaries, but also its internal political dynamics. From the transformative effect of the Punic War to Sulla's dictatorial reform following civil strife, exacerbated by foreign engagement, these events laid bare the tension inherent within the expanding empire struggling with the governance amidst increasing militarization. As internal conflict brewed alongside external pressure, this set into motion events that would ultimately lead towards an inevitable transformation from republic to empire. A tradition marked by figures such as Julius Caesar, who follows Sulla's precedent in wielding military power for political end. This is the end of this video. If you want to watch the full history of Rome, make sure to check this video. And if you want to go into the Punic Wars, make sure to check this one.